Michael Jackson was undoubtedly one of the most famous performers in the world. He lived his life under the spotlight from a child as part of Jackson 5 to becoming the king of pop.
Now, as well as a singer, he was also a father, raising 3 children. Eldest Prince Michael Jackson was only 12 when Michael sadly died in 2009. But now, more than a decade later, he's working to carry on his father's legacy, as Charlie Frost explains.
And I'm delighted to say that Prince Michael joins us exclusively now from the Jackson Hayvenhurst estate to talk about his annual charity Halloween party Thriller Night that is happening tomorrow. Good morning to you. Thanks so much for joining us. It's great to see you.
Good morning, Britton. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Great. Now, listen, tell us more about this Thriller Night party, because we just saw a few pictures of it there, but I'm intrigued by it. What can people expect?
So Thriller Nights, what you can expect is every year we're always going to outdo ourselves. And unfortunately, we did have to take a break due to the pandemic last year, in which we did a virtual event with Omarion. But this year is our 7th year actually hosting it. It would have been our 7th year consecutively, but still 7 is a good number for us. So we really wanted to step up the ante this year. And this year we're really excited to offer live entertainment, special performance by Chris Tucker, as well as Elijah Blake and MK. And we're just so honored to be able to have artists like that performing here at this property and to kind of promote and to continue the legacy of love and caring and music that is my father.
Yeah, and I know a big part of it for you as well is raising funds for your charity, isn't it? Healing Los Angeles. Tell us more about what that does, because I know it helps to improve the life of children there, doesn't it?
Yes, so the party is a fundraiser, and 100% of the proceeds that we raise from the event goes all towards our programming at the Heal Los Angeles Foundation. And our programs are all geared towards providing educational initiatives towards underserved youth of Los Angeles, both in hard educational skills such as like math and stuff like this, as well as soft educational skills that aren't necessarily covered in school, but that I've benefited a lot from lessons that my father taught me, or lessons that John Muto, my partner, was inspired by my father, and just continuing that loving, kind of nurturing kind of tradition amongst children. And that's what we're all about at the Heal Los Angeles Foundation, to kind of continue that legacy.
Yeah, I mean, some amazing stuff that you've done at that foundation. And I know during the pandemic particularly, you were really busy delivering meals to not only some of the disadvantaged youth, but a lot of healthcare workers. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we are extremely fortunate to be in a place that we are. I'm extremely fortunate to be in a place that I am, to be able to give back to my community, which is very important to me. And at the onset of the pandemic, we recognized that there was a big need. There's always been a big need around food insecurities in Los Angeles, but due to the pandemic and the lockdown, that need just kind of grew exponentially. And we didn't want to feel like our communities felt like we had forgotten them. So John and I kind of took the first month of the lockdown to try and figure out what could we do that was safe, but also beneficial to our communities. And that's how we partnered up with Fresh and Lean to start our grab and go meals, which we were doing every day for, I think, like 6 months, Monday through Friday. And we've handed out over 20,000 meals. We may be even close to 30,000 now. So that's been really awesome. And we also were able to give healthcare, our healthcare heroes, our nurses and doctors, people who are on the front line of the pandemic, nutritional bento boxes sponsored by Yamashiro as well.
You know, Prince Michael, I mean, listening to you speak now and seeing some of your interviews, it is incredible, really, with the legacy that you're inheriting and what you could have done. You could have done many things, but here you are, giving so much to people, doing so much charity work. That is in honour of your father, and I get the impression that you feel that your father is very close to you right now, and you're honouring him in the most personal and most important way.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And I mean, I would disagree a little bit in that I could have done anything. I don't believe in that. This is the only thing that I can do, because from a young age, as a young child, my father was very adamant about giving back to the community. And it's just a drive that he instilled in myself and my siblings. And if I couldn't give back to the community, if I couldn't help children, I don't really know what I would do with my life. And you're right in assuming that every time I do this work, I do feel that not only am I making my father proud that I'm continuing this, but I think that he would also be happy that not just his son, but someone my age is trying to continue that message of love and positivity and to spread this idea that we should care for one another.
Well, there's no doubt that he would be very proud at the work you're doing. I've got to ask what on earth it was like having Michael Jackson as a father, growing up with that, growing up with the fame, with the world's attention on him. What was that like for you as a child?
I think human beings are very resilient, you know, so a lot of people expect that kind of answer to be very extravagant or different, but that's how I was raised and that's kind of all I knew, you know, so that was really normal for me. But when it comes to the foundation and Michael Jackson as my father and him as a parent, he is inextricably tied to the foundation because the positive experiences he gave me and that he made an effort to give me in my childhood really resonated and stuck with me and clearly had positive impacts on my life. And I would like to be able to share that with the world. There's so many messages about leading with love and putting your best foot forward, turning the other cheek, that I feel maybe gets a little lost in translation, especially now with my kind of generation and younger generations, but are still so important and essential to leading happy lives. So I'm just very grateful and honored that I got to spend the time with him that I did and soaked up as much information that I could from him.
I think I heard as well, Prince Michael, that you often still hear your father. You can hear him speaking to you. I mean, that's quite incredible. Tell us about that.
So it's not like a voice in my head, you know, but in a way it is, because when you do philanthropic work and if you care about it a lot, such as myself and my family, I think you tend to carry the weight or the struggles of the people that you're trying to help. And that's really when I hear my father's voice the most, is because those are the times when you struggle the most and you almost wonder, like, how can I continue to keep doing this? And it's during those moments that I hear him, he's like, somebody has to do it. You have to do it. You have to keep pushing forward. And it's important that we do this. And he's kind of always on my shoulder, in my ear, motivating me to keep that moral compass pointing north, if that makes sense.
Now, let's talk about your siblings, Paris and BG. I mean, you are the eldest. Do you feel the responsibility in a way to look out for them and to, you know, keep an eye on them and keep them in check at times? You are, in the end, you are a family. Regardless of anything else, you're a family and you're the elder brother.
Of course, 100%. When we were growing up, my father would say, you know, we could have nothing, but you look around in this room, your brother, your sister, and me, that's all you'll ever have. And that always stuck with my siblings and I, and we have such a close relationship. And because I'm the oldest, you know, my father would always tell me I have to make sure that the group is taken care of and that I have to kind of be the leader and lead by example. But after his passing and kind of us being thrown into the quote-unquote real world, my siblings, honestly, they picked up the slack that I unfortunately left behind. And it's not, at this point in our life, it doesn't really feel like there's that hierarchy of I'm the older brother. It's more, we're all siblings and we're kind of all on that same level where my sister has her strengths and my brother has his strengths, and where I'm not as strong in certain areas, they complement me in that way.
Is it difficult?
We have that relationship where... Sorry, go ahead.
No, is it difficult to be there for them all the time, though? I mean, do you ever feel guilty that you're not there enough for Paris, you know, your younger sister?
I think, you know, I would always want to be there more. You know, sometimes life just happens to get in the way. People travel and stuff like that. But any moment that I get to spend with my siblings now, especially as we're getting older, you know, and our own lives are starting to kind of blossom and grow, every moment that I get with them, any little family dinner, any family outing is really a special moment for me.
I know that you encouraged your sister down the musical route, didn't you? And you've directed one of her music videos. I mean, are we going to see some kind of family musical collaboration at any point here?
I mean, in the sense that probably I'll handle the visuals and she'll handle the music, I think I would love to do that again. My sister has such a cinematic way of telling stories through her music, and it's so raw because it comes from a place of true emotion, you know? And anytime as a creative person, when you get that type of intellectual property, you get that type of project, it just makes the process so much easier. And on top of it, because her and I have such a great personal relationship, it makes being on set that much more fun.
I was sort of imagining some kind of, family sing-alongs, all getting together, singing your father's greatest hits. That doesn't happen then.
No, it happens kind of behind closed doors because my singing voice is atrocious.
Do it. There's no pressure at all, Prince Michael.
There's a lot of pressure,
You've still got lots of great uncles and aunties. I mean, are you in touch with your uncles, with Tito? I know you're quite close to Tito's children, aren't you? Are you close to your uncles in that way?
I mean, when I was growing up, family is family. And whether it's by blood or by choice, I have this kind of love and loyalty for all my family members. And my uncles, they have very busy personal lives, sometimes they're touring, sometimes they're going on their own personal endeavors. But whenever we do get to link up and reconnect, that family connection, that love is still as strong as ever. And as far as, my Uncle Tito's kids, my cousin Taj, TJ, and Terrell, we still are very close. Taj has helped me design the Thriller maze for our event this year. So we've been working kind of hand in hand with that. And, they've just been such strong role models for me in my life that I do look up to them in that kind of older sibling, older cousin kind of way.
And of course, you still have the matriarch of the family. How is Catherine, your grandmother? I know you're very close to your grandmother. How is she doing?
She's great. I'm very happy to say. It was a little tough for her in the pandemic just because, she's elderly, so it's a little risky. It's very risky for her. And she wasn't able to see her grandkids. And fortunately, actually, my family had a few new babies in the past year. So we've kind of made the Jackson clan a little bigger. And she wanted to meet them. She wanted to see them. So, as it kind of started to level out, or we felt a little more secure in going to see her, I've been going up to see my grandma. I try to go up to see her once a week. I was playing Uno with her not too long ago, and she still knows all the rules, even rules that I don't even know about, and she will catch you if she thinks you're cheating. So she's doing great.
Great.
Just before we let you go, someone else who's been in the news recently is Britney Spears. I know that your father respected her, he performed with her, didn't he? He was friends with her. Obviously, she's had a lot of issues with her conservatorship recently. What do you think he would have made of the Free Britney movement?
That's a very tough question just because I don't like to put words in my father's mouth, and I can't say that I ever heard him mention anything about that. And obviously this is something that's really come to light in recent years. But knowing my father and the compassion that he had for individuals who wanted to remain in control of their own life, as it was his goal to be in control of his own life, I would think that he would be very supportive of her cause, and he would understand the place that she's coming from, and I think he would wholeheartedly support her.
Well, listen, it's great to talk to you this morning, Prince Michael. Thanks ever so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Prince Michael Jackson.
Thank you so much. You guys have a great day.
And give our regards to Paris and Bijou, and we hope that we can speak to Paris and Bijou one day, maybe with yourself coming back on the show. That'll be fantastic. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you.